Get ready to move, get ready to prove. We're bringing the funk, gonna make you move. Life back system, it's time for change.
So today we worked on, most people say autophagy. I'm gonna say it, autophagy. Why? Because it's like an moment. You feel amazing about what's going on. Now I see, now I get it. So we're gonna talk about, why do you need to fast? I don't know why so many people are afraid of fasting. To be honest with you, I literally can't even comprehend it. I'll just leave it at that. And the reason why is that you already, well, I wasn't, but most people are already fasting 8 hours a night, 6 hours a night, 10 hours a night. All you're gonna do is extend that out. And I'm gonna give you the most valid reasons out there that you would want to do this, and why we want to do longer fasting for a longer period of time to get longevity. We were never, ever, ever designed to eat day in and day out, all day long and all night long, and have grocery stores or anything like that. That is not what God created in the beginning. As you all know, we didn't even have grocery stores. We had to hunt for our meat. We had to fast. We had to survive. There is a stress level of cortisol and survival that happens when we go through a fasting period. When you look at the medical side, the scientific beliefs, the proven ways of why we do this, literally, fasting is the only way to stay alive. It is going to reverse all your autoimmune diseases. It's going to heal all your organs, and it's going to prevent you from getting cancer, at least 99% chance. I can't guarantee it, but you know how that goes. So we have autophagy, right? This is self-cleaning. This is a mechanism that God gave our body that keeps us healthy. So when we don't do fasting and we overload the system, I'm just going to go through my quick notes. This way I'm not all over the board. So we want to stay in a fasted state to prevent disease. Why? Because nobody wants to die of any kind of disease, and definitely not type 2 diabetes with your feet cut off, like, right? Who wants to go there? You don't want the breathing issue, the PCD, whatever it is. You don't want POCO, you don't want anything. You do not want autoimmune disease. So how do you get rid of fatty liver disease? You fast. How do you get rid of kidney disease? You fast. Gut issues, you fast. Brain issues, you fast. You're like, okay, coach, I've been doing this for 3 days, 5 days. Fasting sucks. I feel like crap. Okay, I just want you to know, you feel like crap because you did what you did before you got here. Hang in there with me. You are going to feel better on the other side. And when you start looking at the benefits of why you're going to feel better, this right here should drive you to never quit. Like literally, if you need a why, let this be your why. So cellular house cleaning. Now, bear with me for a moment. I am a mom, I am a woman, and I talk like one and I act like one. So we're gonna go right down this avenue. Okay, so a week went by, you didn't clean your house. It might have some dust, might have a few things here or there. It might be a little disorganized, but it's not bad. So think of your house and the dust as food. Okay, you got that visual? Now you went an entire year without cleaning your house. What does it look like inside there? What does that food look like inside your body? Now you went 10 years, you're a hoarder. You ate every hour on the hour, every 2 hours. You never took a break. You got up in the middle of the night, you ate chocolate, you did all this crap. What does that look like after 10 years? What does your house look like after 10 years of not cleaning it? Now, if you've never watched the Hoarders program on TLC, I highly recommend you go watch it and look at all those items, those beer cans, the alcohol, the food, the mice, the mold. Think about all that right there in your liver. Now, if that visual doesn't drive you to fast, I don't know what will. To be honest with you, just thinking of gross stuff inside my liver and where I was, good Lord. Please forgive me for being such a stupid idiot and the things that I did, being all high mighty, eating all that junk food, only to end up so sick. And thank God he gave me a wake-up call to do the aha moment, right? Aha, we need to go back to fasting. Something I did for years and I walked away from it. Stupid. Never, ever, ever walk away. So fasted state is to prevent disease. It's cellular house cleaning. This is where the cells, the liver takes the cells out to the garbage. Do you leave your garbage in your house for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, can you imagine the smell and the mold and the disgusting stuff that would grow? That's what happened in your liver. So you don't want to do this, you guys. I'm trying to give you a really good gross analogy so that you can look at your plumbing and go, wow, my pipes are disgusting. I need to clean that out. But fiber is not what cleans it out. Vegetables is not what cleans it out. Fruit does not clean it out. As a matter of fact, it actually adds to it. Every single piece of fruit you've ever put in your mouth has mold spurs on it. They go into your system, they destroy your mitochondria, they make your microbes bad, and you just get sick. So stop. Okay, as we talked about a moment ago, we have our hoarder, our clutter, we've got dirty, we have dusty, and we clean our house once a week. So we need to fast 18 hours every single day, and potentially at least once a week do a 24-hour fast. If you feel like it, once a month, do a 3-day fast. I highly recommend it. On my program, I take you through that. So let's look at what fasting means. I get this all the time when I post the menus. Everybody goes, well, wait, what do those numbers mean? So excuse me or pardon me if I didn't explain it well enough, but I'm gonna explain it again today. So 18 hours is the duration that you go with no food. That is called the closed window. Okay, the next one, this number, the second number, is your eating window. So your restaurant is open. Okay, that means that there's no food in that 18-hour. And you're like, what? No food? 18 hours? Are you kidding me? I can't do that. I'll die. You're not going to die. You're not going to starve. You have food in your kitchen if, God forbid, you really needed it. But I'm going to tell you that when you learn how to fast and you get past that 6-hour eating window, which, to be honest with you, at night when you go to bed from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you already got like what, 10 hours in, 12 hours in. Just push it a little further the next day, a little further the next day. Eventually, you're going to hit the 18-6. Then my program takes you to what I call the 24. So 20 hours of fasting, 4 hours of eating. Then we're going to get a little closer and we're going to have a 22-hour fasting window and we're going to eat in 2 hours. You're like, wait, hold on a second. I can't eat all my food in 2 hours. If you get your body fit and you're hungry, you could eat all your food in one meal every day, every 23 hours. And a lot of you women are already doing that in this group and you feel fantastic. Your body is healing itself. Sure, there's always going to be bumps in the road. There's always things from the past that are going to pop back up. Maybe you have an insulin resistance issue. Maybe you've got tissue damage. Maybe you have muscle damage. Whatever it is, the bottom line is you have to push through that. I can't do it for you. I'm going to give you the program. I've given you the course. This is what you do with it is follow the directions and you will get over the dizzy spells. You'll get over being lethargic and tired. Why? Because right now your machine is broken and it's shut down and it's so mad. It's like, what are we doing? You did this to me and now you want me to do this for you? And we're going to get to that next. So then we go to a 21-hour, or actually I guess it's a 23-hour, not a 21, and a 1 hour. So this is 23-hour fasting, 1 hour eat. Then we go to a 2-day fast and then a 3-day fast and then a 4-day fast. You're like, what? 4 days with no food, I'll die. You will only die if you have insulin resistance and your little heifer says, I want my sugar, I want my carbs, I want this, I want that, because she's making you sick. So you have to give her a good licking and say, no, we're not doing that because I listened to all those wants and desires and that sweet tooth, and now I'm so sick I can barely stay alive. This is gonna heal you. Why? Why does it heal us, Coach? Because we're going to reboot your system, then we're going to renew your system, then I'm going to restore it, rejuvenate it, and ultimately I'm going to rebuild it. How are you going to rebuild my liver? Well, here's the coolest thing. The liver is the only organ in your entire body that rejuvenates itself. So when we come over here and we talk about the rejuvenation, this is the place that the liver starts to heal. Now, a lot of you have already heard this, so bear with me while I say it for everybody else who needs to hear it. So imagine that you have a driveway poured and there's just a little teeny tiny faulty crack in it And weeds grow there all the time. And you're like, gosh, I can't even grow grass, but this weed just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. That's your liver. So your liver has hard scar tissue all around it. You've destroyed it over 40, 50, 60 years. Alcohol, processed foods, sugars, chemicals, 125,000 chemicals a day on the freeway. So yes, you have damaged it. It's the world we live in. So what do? What do? You go in and you rejuvenate it by fasting. So when we're doing this, the coolest thing is the liver is like that weed. It just pops through that scar tissue. It will constantly find openings everywhere it can to save your life. If you have a 3% functioning liver, I can work with you. I can help you get to 10%, 20%. 30%. Your liver will actually grow a whole new liver. I cannot get rid of your scar tissue. That is yours for life. So you might end up with a little bit of a lump, but you're gonna be healthy. You're gonna have your weight off. Insulin resistance gonna be gone. Type 2's gone. Fibro's gone. Mast cells gone. All of these things that make us sick are gonna go away. You're like, yeah, but right now I have brain fog, I feel tired, I'm lethargic, it isn't working. It is working. See, what's happening right now is that your liver is working so hard to undo what you did, and it's not getting the carbohydrates and the sugar for energy source. It has to go find it in the storage cells, which I'm gonna talk about here in a minute. It's rejuvenating, so it's building. Have you ever seen a baby sleep? A baby sleeps because it's rebuilding its cells. It has to grow. So we're making our body go into the state of a growth hormone that gives us back our life. So I want you just for a moment to imagine the cells in your liver are like food in the oven, okay? So you've been cooking in your oven for 35 years. You didn't clean it. Can you imagine the overspills and the gross grease and the disgusting things that are in there, right? So we're going back to that garbage. Your oven has to be cleaned because your liver is burned out. The liver is no longer working. It's not functioning hardly at all, just enough to keep you alive, which is why you're constantly at the doctor with symptoms of all these other things. And they're like, I don't know what your problem is. Let's try this pill. Let's try this. Let's try this. Well, you know what? How about trying this? Do your intermittent fasting and let the autophagy start to work. All right, so we're gonna see, what does autophagy do? It actually takes damaged cells and it either throws them away. You've got two portals that go out. One goes back into the body and it re-heals it. It looks at it really closely and says, there's hope for that cell. I'm gonna try and restore it. If it comes back around the loop and it's still damaged, we're gonna get rid of it in your bowels because poop is dead cells. So when you come to me and you're like, hey, I haven't pooped in 3 or 4 days and you're healthy, I'm gonna say, that's good. You don't have a lot of dead cells going out, right? You don't hardly have any waste because your body is functioning properly. Yes, we poop, everybody poops, but you don't need to poop 3, 4, 5 times a day. That is a lie that the government has sold us. We all bought it. We all did Metamucil, fiber, eat this, eat that. Lies, 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 lies. What you do want is your liver functioning properly, and then you have little stool out because there's little waste. Your body's utilizing everything that you have. It's so amazing. So it's gonna get rid of the damaged cells, the damage of the protein that's in cells that's been stored and not used, which is very dangerous. And it's gonna get rid of pieces of white blood cells and or blood cells in general, red blood cells that are no longer functioning. As a matter of fact, those zombie cells are what leads you to cancer. So we're thankful they're going away. We're thankful the liver's doing its job. And then from there, it's gonna get rid of dead enzymes, it's gonna get rid of pathogens, and it's gonna start healing your body, which takes us to the rebuild of the liver. Okay, now, let's go back to this oven for a minute. It's full of grease and grime, right? It's no longer working. It's full of waste materials. That's a really good word right there, waste. You have a lot of waste. You know what poop is? It's waste. So you have more than normal, and not to mention all the toxins in your lymphatic system that's full of fluid that is trapped. It's literally trapped. It's like water flow that's been blocked. It's got a crimp in the hose. It's not working. The only way to get the lymphatic system working everything else in your body working, is first you must get your liver working. It is the root cause of disease. So now, as the liver starts to work, we're going to take the junk and the inflammatory debris that's stuck inside your system, and we're going to push it out. It can come out through urine, it can come out through sweat, and it can come out through bowels. This is the 3 ways the body eliminates things. So some people go, oh, I feel like, weird. You feel weird because your body's working. The machine is trying to fire back up. So yeah, you might have some tingling in your hands and feet. You might have tingling in your legs. You could have tingling in your neck. You could have tingling in your head because it's starting to get the oxygen that it needs. It's starting to get the cell rejuvenation in order to heal. And I know it sounds crazy because you've never experienced this before, because you've actually been clogging your drain, leaving your house dirty for 20, 30, 40 years, the same as I did. I can speak from experience here. I'm going to tell you it works. So hang in there, stay steady Eddie, and you're going to have that aha autophagy moment because you're going to realize what your liver's doing. So let's move down to some of the things the liver must do. Do you know that this is necessary for survival? So years ago, we're going to talk about cortisol just for a moment and how it links to the liver and to your rejuvenation. So we talked about how cortisol is a survival mechanism. So just for a moment, imagine you're living in the wilderness, you don't have any shelter, you don't have running water, you have nothing. So your cortisol level heightens to the point that you can actually feel it release because you heard something in the woods. It could have been a scalper, it could have been an animal, like who knows? But what you have to go into defense mechanism. You got to go into protector mode. You got to be a warrior ready to fight. Maybe you don't even have a weapon. Maybe the only weapons you have are your fists, but you've got, your loved one or whatever behind you. It was a lonely world back then. We didn't have all this, right? But the one thing we had was survival, because I've told you guys this before, you would not be here if it wasn't on both sides of your parents, over 2,500 people all evolving to where you are today. And I don't mean evolving from monkeys. I'm talking about eating and eating and eating. But isn't it crazy? We have more population on the earth today than we've ever had, and yet we have more sickness than we've ever had. Do you not see how the Food and Drug Administration and like Big Pharma, they have literally killed you. So now we look at the liver. The liver has to remove all dysfunctional cells. Back in the day, if you were very ill, like in the 20s or whatever, sure, you may have died because you didn't have proper care. But if they would have just looked backwards to where they came from, they could realize what it takes to heal. Fasting heals cancer. Fasting heals autoimmune disease. It gets rid of type 2 diabetes. Do you have to starve yourself? No. I actually prime you, I get you ready, and then from there we fast because it's a win situation. So coach, what are you doing during that time? What I'm doing is I'm breaking down all your pathogens in your cell. I'm getting rid of your bacteria, and I'm going to get rid of your viruses. So how does this happen? What exactly happens? I stress the liver. So I put enough stress on the liver that it has to go to work. It will not let you die. Just think about that. Your liver wants you alive. It is your best friend and it doesn't want you to die. So when I start stressing it, it goes, oh man, we better get to work. We can't find anything here. We're not getting our nutrition from the table. We better go heal some things, get into this survival mode, get that cortisol level working so that we're able to survive. And you're not even fighting off animals. Like, we're creating a situation, it's like a reenactment so that you can win. All right, let's look at what that helps. It prevents disease. It actually gives you longevity. Everybody wants to live a little bit longer. Even my aunt who died at 108 and a half, she wasn't ready to go. She's ready to go. She loved the Lord, but she also loves her family, right? So she still wanted to be here. 108 and a half years old is a really good life. I'm going to turn 100 into the new 60. So you see me today? I want to be the same when I'm 100. Okay, let's look at one of the greatest things about fasting. It absolutely lowers your risk of cancer. So being carnivore, getting rid of all processed foods, all dairy, all junk food, all sugar, everything, you are going to reduce your levels of cancer because there's nothing for it to feed on. So for all of you who think that cancer comes from sugar, it doesn't come from sugar, but it lives on the damage from sugar. It lives on sugar. That's what feeds it. So when we remove this, we put our body into a fasted state, we stress the liver goes, dang guys, we better get to work and start healing this body because we don't want it to die. But when you're giving it the sugar and you're giving it the processed foods, what purpose does it have to work? It has everything it needs. It's almost like a child. Just for a second, imagine you gave your child the silver spoon. You've spoiled them rotten. Please explain to me how they realize they need to go work. They don't. They become entitled. They become lazy. They're not worthy. They don't do crap. They're horrible for our community, but they have everything they ever wanted. Think of that like your liver. It's a spoiled little child. Okay, from here, this I love because this is why we met. It lowers obesity. Each of us have come together from a state of illness, obesity, disease, things that aren't working properly. Somehow or another, you either heard of me or you found me on the internet, whatever it was. Today, we are here because we have a common goal that is wellness, functional medicine, functional nutrition, functional fitness, and health. We want to be healthy. We are cleaning our liver. We are cleaning house, right? So think about it like that all the time. I'm at your house helping you. You're at my house helping me. We're getting the job done. So we get rid of obesity. This word, obesity, nobody wants to tie it to liver disease, but literally, if you have a healthy liver, you're not gonna have obesity. If you have an unhealthy liver, you're not gonna have, if you have an unhealthy liver, you're gonna have obesity. And here's another one. If you have an unhealthy liver, you also could be anorexic. So there is a happy medium of where we wanna be. We are not here to be skinny. We are here to be healthy. Write that down. I do not wanna be skinny, I wanna be healthy. Whatever weight that is, if you come in, you're 21% body fat, 150 pounds, you love it, that's where you need to be. You're not gonna be 125 anymore because you got great lean muscle mass. Don't lose your muscle mass, which is part of TNT. We need it to age. Okay, the next one is the immune system. So when you have fatty liver disease and or fibrosis or cirrhosis, which is the final stages, as long as 3% is working, I can help you redevelop your gut and develop your immune system and to get you healthier. Now, immune system response only happens in the liver. Everybody out there's like, oh, it's your gut, it's your micros, your mitochondria. Okay, there's truth to that, but your gut can't get healthy unless your liver's healthy. The same with your joints, your pains, your ligaments, your tendons. You have to eat. You are not born to live on nothing, no more than your car will not run without fuel. You must have it. The key is that you had too much of it and you stored it like a hoarder. You need to go in and clean house, get rid of all the stuff you don't need. And when I say stuff, sometimes that is poop. Got to get rid of it and we're going to clean it up. Okay, the next thing is you have your degenerative diseases. This heals all of that. Dementia, Alzheimer's, neuropathy, Morton's disease, you've got plantar fasciitis, you have tightening of the fasciitis, you have shoulder disease, you've got hip disease, bursitis, fibro. This heals all of your neurotransmitters, every single one of them. It heals your brain. And then on top of that, it reduces and gets rid of blood sugar issues, glycemic, degenerative eyes, all of these things play a factor. Did you ever notice that when you hit 40, 38, 40, you had perimenopause signs? Your vision started to get blurry. You start to have floaters. These are all things that are related to fatty liver disease. If you don't like the way that's happening to you, you've got to go in and stress that liver so that it performs because it's really entitled right now. It's lazy. No more lazy livers. I like that. Okay, the removal of oxidative stress, huge, because all these osculates that you got from the wonderful green group, you know, all your kale and your spinach, super high, gonna kill you. So cleaning the liver gets rid of that too, because we're gonna clean house. We're gonna remove all the damaged mitochondria. Mitochondria has to be strong. This is what keeps you alive and working with the gut and the liver. They all he's like a transporter. They work together. In your mitochondria, it gets weakened as your liver gets weakened, and then your gut gets sick. So it's going to remove the damaged one and keep the good ones. It's always going to recycle, renew, rebuild the good stuff, and the stuff that's just not worthy, those zombie cells are hanging out in the corner and they're a gang and all they're looking to do is cause cancer, we get rid of those. From here, it corrects your insulin levels. If you have a 0 flatline insulin, yes, you're still going to have spikes from meat. Meat does not cause insulin spikes, but what happens, it's a natural response for your body to process the nutrients that went in. We don't care about those little spikes. Those are normal. It's the big spikes and or running at over 110 in your glucose sugars, or maybe 300 or 400, or worse yet, like my son-in-law who was 790 when he went into a coma. That is death. He's lucky to be alive. He got that at 22. He's 40 now. He's blessed to be alive. So think about your insulin. It gets rid of stress. It starts to heal your stress. It heals everything that's inside your body as far as strains, tears, microfiber tears. It all comes from the liver. And from here, we put a huge demand on that liver. I'm talking massive demand. I do this for you. I push your body to the point that it goes, whoa, who's in control? I better pay attention. What are they doing? Oh, demand and supply. I see. She's demanding me to supply the nutrients that the body needs to get out those dead zombie cells. So huge. We put pressure on it in order to increase the workload. Our liver wants to work all the time. But what happens is when it becomes congested and lazy, it stops working, things back up in your body. Sooner or later, you're going to either get obesity or you're going to be diagnosed with a lot of autoimmune diseases. And then on top of that, we want to make sure that when we're working the liver, we take away from it. And when we take away the nutrients, it has to go into production and create more nutrients because that's its job. If you don't do that, it isn't going to work. It's never going to have a reason. It becomes lazy, lethargic, decays, scar tissue, and death follows that. It removes all toxic states of any kind of obesity, overeating, all of that goes away. It is going to heal your hormone responses, aka cortisol, stress. It's going to be a powerhouse that it develops you into being a powerhouse. It's going to give you this incredible energy, smart thinking, alertness. Now, right now, if you're new and you're like, man, I'm in the toilet, you are in the toilet. It's okay. Naked truth. The wake-up call is that thank God you did it today, because maybe in a year and a half from now, you wouldn't even be here. So get through it and come out on the other side, because let me tell you something, depending on your level of damage, sometimes the other side is 3 days, some people it's 3 weeks, some people it's 7 weeks, sometimes it's 3 years. Whatever it is, I don't know, because I didn't walk this path with you. I was not on your journey until now. So now I'm in your book, I'm in your chapter, I'm in your story, and I'm gonna help you get to the other side, the next chapter. From here, it turns on your metabolic switch. Now, we talked about metabolic switching earlier in last week, I believe it was. If you have not watched that whiteboard, go back and watch it, because we're going to go from burning sugar, carbohydrates, into utilizing fuel. Fuel is way more important from fat than it ever could be from carbohydrates or sugar. And then on top of this, I'm going to jump back up to the beginning, is can I fast? You're already doing an 8-hour fast or a 10-hour fast, or maybe even, let's say you quit eating at 7 o'clock at night, you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's a 12-hour fast. You're already there. Gradually every day, go a half hour longer, go 15 minutes longer. I can wait for you. I can wait for you to get to that 18-hour mark. But the bottom line is you got to do 1% better today so that in 100 days, you're 100% better. If you push, let's say you get up at 7:15, right? Go until 8 o'clock with no food. Have your hot water and lemon and butter. The butter is going to kind of fill you up a little bit, especially if you add MCT oil in it, because it takes away brain fog. From 8 o'clock the next day, maybe go 8:30 or shoot for 9 o'clock. Do your best. Then you're going to go 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then all of a sudden it's 12 o'clock and you're like, wow, I'm really not that hungry. Okay, then don't eat. You are so set in that clock. Oh, it's nutrition time, just like at school. Eat your breakfast. Don't go to school on an empty stomach. So what did we eat? Lucky Charms. Hello, that was enough to kill us. We ate Fruit Loops. We ate Frosted Flakes. These are things that have been killing you since you were a child. My God, I grew up on Pop-Tarts. Loved them burnt. That's cancer. Literally cancer. My parents would buy it. We would burn it. We would eat it. That is so dysfunctional, I can't even tell you. But you know what? I'm not mad at my parents. They listened to the FDA. They did what they thought was right. I am an adult. I am in charge of my body the same as you are. We have to untie those lies. Have I made the same mistakes? A few. I allowed my kids one big bottle of pop a week. They had to share it for, 5, 6 kids, 7 days. It didn't go very far. Then occasionally they got ice cream homemade. It was pretty healthy. Then we would have Taco Bell, McDonald's. Okay, it's unhealthy. I get it. It was not every night of the week. And then for breakfast, they were allowed one of the big bags. They were like $4.59 at the time. And there was like 6 of them. It was probably 2 bowls each a week. Otherwise, I made other bigger mistakes. I made homemade pancakes. I made homemade biscuits. I used vegetable oil. I didn't use tallow. We hardly ever ate red meat. We ate a lot of elk and deer, but the truth be, we lived on white, skinless chicken breast. One of the most disastrous meats on this planet. It's full of hormones. My kids all started their cycles earlier. All the girls had a lot of menstrual cycle problems. Some of them are now in menopause and having problems. Do I blame myself? No, because guess what? That's what they taught me in school. That's what my degree was in, was to go forth and sell the FDA regulations. They're lies. So when somebody asks me, do you have a degree? I do, but it'll kill you. Literally, it will kill you. I want to teach you what I know today. I want to teach you my personal experiences. I want to share with you the fastest way to heal yourself. What I have learned in the last 3 years in all my new certs and doing functional nutrition, learning the right way, is so much more beneficial to you than what I learned in the 80s, because literally it was all lies. So here's your moment for the autophagy. Focus on it. Find that moment every single day in everything you're doing and be your best. Love you guys. Thankful Thursday. I'm thankful that you're here. I'm thankful that you're getting your life back on track. And I'm super excited for Fantastic Focus Friday. I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. God bless you. Sorry.